everyone, my name is Kelsey and I am an early childhood special education teacher at ICEC. I will be doing the cognitive station today, so welcome. Our activity today will be a Mother's Day card using our hands and our feet, and we'll be making a vase and flowers. So what you'll need for the activity is paper, so you can either do some fun colorful paper or you can do plain white printer paper, whatever you have access to. And you'll need something to make the hands and the feet. So I used washable paint that I put on my hands. If you don't have paint, you can use markers, crayons, colored pencils, and just you can trace your child's hand on the piece of paper and they can decorate the hand and then you can cut it out. So you will need 3 flowers, so 3 handprints. I did an example. So what I did is I painted my hand using paint and put it on the paper. You can kind of expand that little part, so you could do a color identification, have the kids choose a color from a field of 2. So that would look like you can have 2 colors, and have your kids choose a color. So you can say, do you want your first flower to be orange or purple? Wait for them to choose a color. They can either do it by pointing at one, verbally saying the name of the color, or grabbing the color out of your hand. So once they have chosen a color, like I said, you'll paint their hand. Some kids don't really like the feeling of paint on their hands. So what you could do is model it on your own hands, show the kids how you put paint on your hands and stamp the paper. If needed, you can just do an outline of their hand if they don't want to touch the paint, and then they can decorate the handprint. So once you have your 3 handprints, you'll set those aside so they can dry. Mine took about an hour to dry. I left them out in the sun, which made it a little quicker. And then part 2 is you'll need a footprint. So this is my footprint, so it's a little bit bigger, but you'll need a footprint for the vase. So this is might be a little more challenging because it's a little ticklish. So like I said, you can either do an outline using like a pencil or marker. You can model showing them you painting the bottom of your own foot so they can see you doing it first and you stamping it on the paper and then seeing if they'll try. I also recommend maybe doing like a few dots on their hands first so they get kind of a little more used to the feeling. And then once they've accepted the feeling, then you can paint their whole hands. For the activity, I want it to be their creativity shown in the artwork. So having them choose the colors they want for their 3 flowers, the paper they use, and the decorations. You don't have to just leave it this. If they want to put stickers on there or glitter or anything else that you have accessible, that's totally fine. So once your paint is dry, you'll cut it. So I cut it around just so it's a pretty even cut, since you'll have 3 of the flowers. So once my handprint is cut out, you can cut out little papers for green leaves. If you don't have green paper, that's totally fine. You can use white printer paper and just color the leaves, have the kids color the leaves green. And then you'll need stems. So I also just cut out thin green paper for my stems, but if you also don't have green paper, just color white paper for the stems, and then leaving the footprint on the paper so you don't need to cut it. So once that's done, have the kids glue on, or tape if you don't have glue, tape on the paper. So first you will tape on the stems. So having the kiddos kind of place that and have their own design. And then you'll glue on the leaves. And then you'll place your hands. So I just glued on my hands. And then I'll glue on my leaves. So since I used cardstock, my paper is a little bit thicker. So if you're using something a little bit thicker, I would recommend after gluing, setting aside and putting something heavy on top to help stick the handprints on. So I'm just gonna put some books on there so it dries. And then once it's dry, you can write a little note to mom saying, "To mom, love whoever made the card." So mine would say, "To mom, love Kelsey." And that's a great little Mother's Day gift that your kids can work on for Mother's Day. And you can work on it with all your kids. This activity really focuses on following directions, choosing between two colors, color identification, joint attention, and attention to task. Thank you so much for joining us today, and happy Mother's Day to all those mothers out there. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye!